Morning. I'm Helen Gibson, and today I felt this real draw to talk to you about the current energy with human design, gene keys, because we have shifted in our Chiron placement for everyone in the collective. It has shifted from one of those energies to a new one. We've just today moved into that on the 18th. And this will be present for a while. I haven't got the exact times and dates. I'll put that in the description below. But so we've just come out of gate or key 42, or if you're looking in the I Ching, the I Ching 42 hexagram. And the energy of that was all around finishing things and conclusions. So you might have noticed over the last few months that you've had to tidy up a lot of areas, or things have come up again for you to deal with or to look at and to clean up. So we're actually moved out of that as of today. We're in the energy of 3. So that will be the gate 3 if we're talking human design, the gene key 3 if we're talking gene keys, I Ching, the hexagram 3. So it's an interesting, because we've come from these conclusions and where we're finishing all these things and endings, and there might have been a few things that just had to just like completely step away from. And we're moving into this new energy of 3. So the language around the 3, the traditional language is ordering. The quantum human design language is innovation. And the gene key language is chaos, from the shadow of chaos to the gift of innovation to the city of innocence. So when I looked at this energy, I was like, oh, that's so interesting how we've just come out of a cycle. How did this energy of like completion and like nearly a rebirthing energy. And then we're going to 3. So the 3, when I looked into it, it's like the bringer of change, new ideas, new possibilities, and just creating new ways of doing things or how you live or experience life. Not getting stuck in those old ways of it's not working, I can't do this. It's like looking at new ways that you can create this life that you want to create and not get stuck in that. Because in the shadow of that, like if you look at gene keys and they tell you the shadow of this, and when I looked at the human design information too, it's like this chaos or this panic or anxiety. You become really anxious about things. And sometimes going into that shadow and looking at that, it's a great way of kind of you then going, okay, well, what do I need to change here? What do I need to look at? What do I need to accept about me, that so I can create a new way of doing things, because it might not be currently, feel like it's success, like not successful. I don't like really using that word so much, but like it might not feel like there's flow or things aren't moving the way that you would hope to. So it's like if you're panicked and anxious, really sitting back and going, well, how can I do this differently maybe? Is there a new way that I can look at, moving forward, because this isn't working for me anymore this way. It doesn't mean you leave everything behind. You might be able to take something from the old and bring it into the new. So focusing on new ways, looking different ways of thinking, because sometimes some of the old ways are great of doing things, but we're shifting in new ways of new energies. We're evolving. We are genetically evolving. We are, well, if you want to call mutating, we're mutating. And I experienced this kind of I guess you want to call it a download, or I saw a lot of things the other day as I closed my eyes and went to sleep, and then experienced this massive, I guess you want to call it a migraine or a headache. And oh my goodness, it was intense. And I felt like I was shifting something. I felt like something in my body was shifting in my genes, in my cells. And then I would close my eyes and I could see all these types of like, yeah, it kind of looked like your cells and that moving. So when I discovered that we had moved into this next one, and I was like, of course, of course, that's why. And there might be other reasons as well. It could be, there's a lot of things that it could have been. But what I saw and what I experienced felt really real, and that we are, we are going through this mutation over the next few years. That some say 2027, some say 2030. It depends on what your information that you're looking at. But there's a new people, new humans coming through, and even the children that I meet now, they are already so switched on to new ways of doing things. And if we are stuck as adults and parents or whatever, even if you're not a parent, if we're stuck in the old ways of thinking and old ways of doing things, and we're not willing to even look at the new ways of how things, it's going to make it really difficult for this new evolution that we're going through. Because when we think about, like, you think about back in, the 1800s or whenever the wars were and things like that, and we're in real survival mode, it was life or death. You had to make sure you survive. And we've kind of moved into this next phase where we're beginning to go, okay, it's safe to kind of be more of me, and we're seeing more creative, and people are shifting more into their creativeness and accepting who they are, and people are becoming more open to accepting other people, for the differences that they have. So we've evolved into that, and we're evolving into another level of human evolution, and we don't know what that looks like. I wish I could say to you it's going to look like this. So, people are being born into this new energy, and they're going to be like really switched on with their emotions and that regulation and that creativity and just that next level. Like, I'm a really sensing being, so I, sometimes it's understanding what's going on, and I feel like a lot of these young people that are going to be born are going to really know all this stuff, like we're just like really just touching the surface of intuitive abilities, and really tapping into that for ourselves. When these next humans come along, they're already all over that kind of stuff, and it's up to us to really support them in that and exploring that, and not being made wrong for it, and just teaching them ways that they can express themselves, but also make sure that they're taking care of themselves and all those things. I went off a little bit from what I was actually talking about, but it's quite, because there is this genetic mutation happening. I don't know if you've listened to some of the things that have been, they talk about this, the 2027 and 2030 and the new human and all that kind of stuff. So I came in here to talk about the 3. So it is about beginning to look at new ways of doing things, experiencing things, because some of those old things may not be working anymore. And if you're feeling anxious or a bit chaotic, or things if something needs relooking at, something needs maybe adjusting, or a different perspective on things, might need some knowledge, you might need some support, because or you might need to explore some of your creativeness. I know I've been exploring crochet, which for years I went, no, I'm not learning that, and that was from my own woundings from growing up. So I have been like really breathing through that and exploring how that sits for me. So, and how I can do that without it, the reminder of my past, and the reminder, not that I push it away, but it's like I'm not there anymore. I'm here now. Okay, so yeah, just looking at where, maybe in reflecting on the last few months, have you seen a lot of things get tidied up? Have you cleaned a lot of ways of how you've done things, or relationships have cleaned up, or yourself, certain things you've done have cleaned up, and then now how can you like then create this next level of where you're moving forward? When I saw the word ordering, I was like, to me, it felt like a full-on foundation type of thing. I was like, how can I create the foundations now? I've cleaned up a lot of this stuff, and now I really want to go into some foundation level of like really, and even in my business and for myself, like creating new habits and looking at things differently. Learning that, I have always tried to do things very fast, and I'm learning to really I really have to integrate this and let this land. So I hope that supports you. Definitely go check out some information on that if you want to. I also do human design readings, exploration sessions, I call them, because it's like every person is different, and I can give you the base information, but like for you to really dive inward with this and see what shows up for you. It's handy sometimes to have someone there to like just maybe give you some information or some confirmation of what's going on, or help you with the resources that you need. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, let me know if that resonates for you, that you're feeling like you've just gone through this little bit of a because it has shifted, and I felt it really intensely, and I know others have too. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk soon. Bye.